Of constant national interest at the moment is the rollout of the COVID vaccines. A question on many employers' minds is whether they can or should mandate the COVID vaccine being required of their workforce. I'm Chris Campbell from Aitken Legal. The reality remains that unless there is a public health order that requires the vaccine to be administered in order for a person to work in a particular industry or occupation, there is no broad sweeping power that gives the employer the right to require an employee to have the vaccine. There is no suggestion at present that such a public health order will be issued. However, we consider that it is possible, depending on the employer's industry and or the employee's occupation, and the risk to the employee or the employer's workforce or clients, for an employer to take steps towards the giving of a reasonable and lawful direction that an employee should have the vaccine. To be clear, this is a very delicate situation which requires advice, and it certainly is not a matter where one rule fits all. Employers who are considering they might need to issue a lawful direction to have the vaccine will need to embark on a proper process of education and consultation with their employees before actually making a final decision on the issuing of a lawful direction. Part of this process will be consideration of the reasonable grounds on which an employee might refuse to follow that direction. For example, employees may have medical conditions or religious beliefs that preclude them from having their vaccination. In such circumstances, it may be unreasonable for an employer to direct the employee to have the vaccine. And that then raises the question as to what the employer can do with the employee where it is not reasonably safe for the employee to work in their industry or occupation without the vaccine. Case law coming out of the Fair Work Commission has shown that it may not be unfair in particular circumstances to terminate an employee because they have refused to have a vaccine. However, each case will turn on its own facts, and we certainly recommend that before embarking on the process towards imposing lawful directions on taking the vaccine, or before terminating an employee for refusing to have the vaccine, an employer should be sure to take appropriate employment law advice from Aitken Legal.